Hi, this is Josh. I'm coming to you live from New York. I'm in Hell's Kitchen here at 38th and 10th Avenue, 9th Avenue, 10th, yeah, 10th. And I'm gonna head north. And I got some drops on the Upper East Side on East 88th Street. So the plan here is to cut across to the west side. It's a lovely day. There's a lot of traffic, more than usual. It's Memorial Day week, Fleet Week. So I'm gonna cut across to the water and then zip up fast to 96, then go across the park to make these deliveries on the Upper East Side. I believe that's the fastest way. So enjoy the ride. And then past the Lincoln Tunnel here. Lincoln Tunnel entrance. And there's also the ramps and roads for Port Authority buses. I should really cross over to the bike lane if I can. Computer's acting up. Anyway, here we go. Asshole tarping me just to be an ass. Well, that's the end. I'm going against traffic here. I will turn left as soon as is humanly possible. So here's Silver Towers. It's late morning here in New York. You can see more helicopters because of Fleet by the water. This is jsmwnyc. This is Josh live on YouTube. Passing the Uber and Lyft drivers. Should have taken my money and got an Uber license. I think I'd have been happier just making money that way. Listening to podcasts, learning some more advanced mathematics that way. Continue with my life. All right. I'm gonna make a right turn on 12. 40 seconds. All right, great. Chinese consulate this year, that's right. Light's gonna turn red. I can go over to the bike lane by the Intrepid. Here's Circle Line, cruises. There used to be a bar called PJ's here, but now it's a bike rent, a restroom. Dog park and a boathouse. Times have changed. Here's the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum. You see the Tomcat and the Stealth Bomber. See the plane with the folding wings. They usually put the signal flags up. You can see the wires are down, so they'll be up soon, any day. Once they're in port for peacetime during Memorial Day, during Fleet Week. This is the Intrepid. My father served on the Essex aircraft carrier, which is the exact same ship, bolt for bolt, the same class. So he knew that ship like the back of his hand. You can see May 26th to 29th. Movie night performances, visiting ships, over 20 partners. hands-on activities. There's the off-ramp. And look, there's another aircraft carrier. Yeah, that looks new. It's even larger. It's the same class, so that's an old boat. I mean, they've been in service since the, 50s and since the 50s and 60s. As we head up north. And the way they do formations is in the Navy, so the aircraft carrier is in the center of the formation. And then the communication ships, the destroyers, flank the sides. Instead of having, I mean, they do have gunneries on the sides, but they have gun ships on the sides instead of the guns. The sides of aircraft carriers. As they escort the aircraft carrier around for the other ships around it. More modern. That's a nuclear. Yeah, the 591 is much more modern. That's nuclear class. They also have the laser optics weapons, the Laws weapons, coming back, and the other ones that are like they shoot these giant like metal boxes, the compression ones. Those crazy guns. Those are being researched again as a for the stopping power as an option in case other conflict happens. Yeah, not only the laser weapons, but the what are they called? The ones that fire like the projectiles at like they fire their projectiles at like Mach speed. Can't remember what they're called. So we make it up north. Okay. And these yards look more lavender. These are, I'm going to go under the highway because it's faster, because I want to get this done as fast as possible. So, I forgot to tell Chris about the clutch. So I was so happy to get the extra 2 bags. Do these 9. This is fucked. Whenever it goes over 20 kms, it starts to break down. The gears inside. I'm going to shut itself off. I'll shut itself back on. Then it downshifts down to off. So that means it's also hurting the circuitry inside if it's doing auto shut off. Look, they added the coat of paint. No, they didn't. Oh yeah, they primed it in white. Usually they paint it green or blue again. I go on the side safety road here, the construction road, but it's mad dusty, so I'm not going to do that. I love the trees here, not only the willows, but they have yoga classes here. I don't have my glasses. I'm not being a peeping Tom or whatever, but I juggle usually next to the grass if I have a break. And often, like, someone will come down with like a yoga class. I guess they organize it on like Patreon or Fiverr or whatever. They like just sign up here and meet me in the park. $20 per person. When people crash, they usually get like 20, 30 people. They have like mood music, and they really know their asanas. back to the piece. And this landscaping is new. They really upgraded it with the trees as they started to build the parks for the babies and the kids. You can see a mom happily pushing her baby. It's still weird with the noise above, even though these columns are massive, almost 30 feet above our heads or whatever, the highway. It's cool, I think. The noise isn't as much. I don't know if they put an extra layer of road down, but it used to be it used to echo in a weird way down here when I would ride by on my bike. Then these steep hills, a few of these buildings are owned by former President Trump. And whatever you feel about him, I mean, this is New York, so most of us are Democrats, or we vote independent. But whatever you feel about that successful capitalist man, born into wealth and built a very impressive empire. No matter how you feel about him, and with the crazy scandals with the women from his Playboy lifestyle. I mean, when you're rich, I don't know. I wasn't born into a rich family. But those are some of his buildings right there. So he does some deliveries. There's some nice parks up there too. Wow, there's some gathering here. What's this? It's like a school event. Graduation. Celebration. Yeah, they're all wearing purple shirts. I can't see what it says. Super Senior Day? I don't know, that'd be fun. It might be special ed though. Yeah, except many of them are, not all of them. Yeah, it's field day for special ed. Baseball cages, there's Little League here. I was an all-star pitcher. Yeah, some of them have their own spectrum, Down syndrome. They're having their fun school field day. It's fun. If you're interested in going into education, like me being an education major, it is, you have to spend 20 hours a week with special ed during the course of your training as a teacher. I mean, I really did it. And the kids are always sweet. Some of the special needs, like the special ed is so harsh. Like you work with a child and I swear they remember your face, but they don't remember anything they learned. Like you come in the next day, they forgot how to write a sentence the next day. Like the level of you try again the next time you see them. Then you're there in them all semester, they've forgotten how to write a sentence again. And it's so sad because you think they're not acting. They're not like, hey, I don't want to work. I mean, they might be discouraged, but no matter how much encouragement you give them, the retention is so low. Very sad. Very sad indeed. All right. It says cyclists should stay off the lower roads. And there's some trolls down here. Some of the rangers will yell at you, give you the stink eye. So to avoid the stink eye, I'm going to stay on the upper roads. This is a nice trail. You can smell the earth. It's a beautiful day. That's a fun park. I can't remember, they used to have special events at this park as well when the sprinklers were on. And a few things go on here as we go up north. But it should be smooth sailing all the way up to 95th. Past the Little League fields and all that jazz. Yeah. You better believe it. Approaching 79th. And slow down a little bit. This is the old boat basin. There used to be hundreds of boats here docked. Many of them weren't seaworthy. And you'd live on your boat basin at 79th. And there's a wonderful little cafe here. Yeah, thank you. Bike lane, bike lane. And then there's a cafe here at the Rotunda, which is a turnaround point for cars and an on-off ramp at 79th for West Side Highway. See city bike there? Often, like, someone will rent a city bike, or they'll find one like unlocked on the street, and then they'll think, oh, I've got an e-bike, and then the battery dies. So they just leave it on the side road. So it must have a homing device because there's so many of them that are like abandoned like that. They must have a tracking device, duh. Which I should have done with my bike. We're at 15 minutes live on YouTube. Again, just a quick announcement for this channel. This is Josh Wiener live on jsmwnyc YouTube, streaming to you with no music on beautiful May 24th, Wednesday. Up in the distance, you can see the famous George Washington Bridge, which crosses from Manhattan and Washington Heights over to... Do I want this tunnel? Yeah, I'll show you the gardens. My mom loved these gardens. So I'm gonna go through the tunnel. That was the George Washington Bridge. Goes from Washington Heights over to Fort Lee, where Washington and his troops retreated when the British came back. Battle of Brooklyn. All right, these tunnels are Amtrak tunnels, and like north behind that door. And it was a big thing. There was a way to like go in through, and they cut holes in the gates above to climb up. Go in there, and there's a homeless community in there. And like the graffiti artists would always go in that tunnel. Like the local kids. So it was always a dare. I never did it. My big sister used to tell me about it and other kids. But I never wanted to go in. It was scary. And I had no reason to. I wasn't a graffiti artist. So why bomb in the tunnel? Why explore the tunnels? Apparently there were homeless men and women down there with full beds and like suites, like whatever they scavenged, like little apartments in there. And the Mole People. I remember my dad's wife had that book, The Mole People, which I read cover to cover, which mentioned that as one of the places where there was a large community that was surviving underground in the tunnels. Yeah. But they get swept up as things change and as new buildings are built. Like the communities down by the water. Well, I remember they had tents. So I trained for the marathon, and all the tents were gone one day. Like Zuccotti Park, but like around the... I'm not talking about by Ground Zero, like Zuccotti Park, like that protest. I mean, I suppose that those were the encampments around the city in the tunnels and in the old subways that, because of the floods and because of the crisis of 9/11, they all got screwed. They all lost their homeless squads. Like all the squatters were thrown out. All the Mole People were thrown out. Must have been a crazy time for them, which led to the Zuccotti Park gatherings. We're approaching Grant's tomb, General Grant's tomb, which is here on the right. You can see through the trees the column. And it's also a place where unicyclists sometimes hang out. And there are servicemen have gatherings there, the firemen and police and military, to pay respects to the fallen. Sometimes they go to Grant's tomb here. And there's a thing when we were kids, it's like a caged portcullis. And the kids would take these MADs or fireworks from the 4th of July, because I guess there were a lot of them in the neighborhood, and just go and just launch them into the Grant's tomb because the echo was so loud. Boom, boom, and they would. So you take your old fireworks or your extra fireworks and drop them into Grant's tomb. And the explosion would just rock the block. It would like resonate and would echo. Anyway, that's growing up on the Upper West Side. And then there was this fun park down here when you were very young, and some basketball courts around here by Crabapple Grove. This is the loveliest garden. The 91st Street Garden still to this day is maintained by the Upper West Side gardeners, or volunteer, I believe, or now they have their own coalition. Look, there's a pink ribbon on the side. You can actually walk through the garden. It's much more colorful right now. The roses are in bloom. There's lilies and gardenias and forget-me-nots, daisies and baby's breath. You can see all the flowers are really neat. They always take care of this garden. It's, again, lovely this year. We're just holding on to that picture. It's really, my mom loved this garden. gonna turn around this, I don't know if it's a dodecahedron or if it's got 14 sides or 16. Counted. I watched a video last night. The dodecahedron proved geometrically with tiles that the dodecahedron is an approximation of the circle is precisely 3. So a circle of radius 1, if it's a circle of radius 1 and you inscribe a dodecahedron and a regular dodecahedron, then it's precisely 3. The area is precisely 3. Amazing. Alright, we're going to take this road at Crabapple Grove. It dips down and then goes back up, so it's a fun downhill to do on the bike road with the kids. So on the right are some old trees, and they're crab apples. And to the north of here, there are more crabapple groves, but you can actually see the apples like by the thousands in the summertime. They're not growing yet; they're blooming late. But I used to tie my dock line sometimes to these trees, but the shading, they were too low, so I go up north to learn to see how that yellow ribbon is tied around that fallen tree from the storm. I learned to wire walk. I took one of these city garbage cans that was empty, or I take the bag out, I flip it upside down, I climb on top of it, and then I climb on top of the wire, the dock line, and I just learned to balance myself. And then I learned to juggle on it, and then I learned to balance and juggle on it. Right here in the park, I would just have my ship's dock line, so I could do shows and do slack line. Just saw myself. Anyway, I don't know what possessed me to be interested in it instead of giraffe unicycle or rollabola. I don't know, I wasn't a good skater. But there you go. So we're exiting here. You can keep going further up north. We're on 95th though. Riverside. So the plan here is I'm gonna go up here and then go over to 96, go into the park, and go across town so I can make these 2 bag drops. I think there's a bridge up here. I could go down to the tunnel, show you the old gap. Yeah. So if we go down this path, we can go down into the underpass tunnel, which is the off-ramp from the highway here. And yeah, if we took a trip to get a Christmas tree, I mean, my mom loved Christmas, or went up north to pick apples in the fall, or my sister was going to ride a horse up north or something, or a family trip. When we come back, we come off this exit ramp. It was always a big deal because we were home, yay, but Dad would often stop or Mom. Here on the left were gas stations, and I was wondering if the gas stations are still here to this day. They're not. Look, wow. But there was one or two gas stations. Oh, Mobile's still here to this day. So we'd often, this was like a long trip up north or to Long Island or to Maine. So Mom or Dad would want to fill up the car here at the Mobile gas station before we parked it in the garage. It's still here. And this is PS 75, this drug-free school zone. I did not go to this school, but I competed against them in math league, and I won. I beat everyone in District 3, so I have a plaque to prove it still. It's in my storage unit. Then my brother's helping me stay on top of my bills. So I have a younger brother who's actually taking some money that was left for me from my auntie and paying a few of my bills with it. Thanks to him. But I won Manhattan Athletics 1985. Beat everybody. All right. If you keep going further up here, this is a new construction, and it's a generator for the subway line. It's one of the power stations is under here. So the joke was not to live here on this block because you could get cancer at the generator. It's like nuclear power, electric That was the joke anyway. But now it's residential. The power plant is residential. On the left is the Columbia building, Columbia Condos, 275 West 96th. And there's the church where I used to work. It's Holy Name of Jesus Church. I taught summer school math there. And what can I tell you? So I'm gonna keep going to the east. This is an art gallery here at the Broadway Mall, so they have photography and local artists. They often have a sign outside when they have the events. Here's the Columbia.
Which one? Down me. Let's not make me happen again, all right? And so we know.
Anyway, I'm going to keep going here. Look, another tractor store. And there's the offices. I need to really clean that outside of the church. And there's the Donna statue. And she always has nice roses in spring. She's like, see this CVS pharmacy? It used to be a bank. And I have one weird family story. My mother and my brother had to go. My mother had to go to this bank. And she was walking my brother either to or from school. And my brother started freaking out. Like he started throwing a temper tantrum. And my mother was like, "What the hell is wrong with you? You're screaming and yelling. We're not going anywhere." This is my brother, and my mom was like yelling and screaming at him. He's crying, and she doesn't like want to hit him, so she's yelling back at him. He cries some more. "Not going anywhere. We're going nowhere." It's my baby brother. And for like an hour of this, like the worst temper tantrum, like going nuts. And then by the time it was all over, couldn't go to the bank. She gets to the bank, and there was an armed robbery, and people were like shot there. Isn't that crazy? So my brother's temper tantrum saved mother and my brother from bank violence. It's an armed robbery at the bank. That's crazy. That's crazy. Here in the old neighborhood. These are affordable housing, so like back in the day, you can get like a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment for like $500. Like, I'm not even kidding. These apartment buildings. We lived over here at the Food City building, but after school, we weren't really troublemakers. We were really into bikes. So there were some banks here, like a sloped triangle that they tore down. So we used to jump on the brick triangle and try to learn some tricks, like ramp tricks and stuff, pivots and lawnmowers, kick the bikes around. But I never really learned how to really like do jumps, like dirt jumps, because there was never a BMX rider. And I think that if I were to bike again as a teenager, I'd want to learn to do like the basics, like a basic wheelie and a basic bunny hop. You know, like we could surf ride with no hands, we could do infinity rolls, we could do fire hydrants, decades, we could jump on one wheel, hop, scuff, you know, do all these, even a few link sequences. But like the basics, like going over like a dirt mound and like jumping 3 feet in the air, like I never learned to do that. It's all flatland stuff. Like to really catch air and like be able to tuck, like hold the bike up with your feet and then like land softly. Like that's what I would want to learn if I were learning basic BMX again. Like not like mega air, just like basic air. Maybe it's not too late, I don't know. Yeah, like I never did a 360 on a bike or like a 360 air or even snowboarding. I mean, I can ride a 6-foot unicycle and go forwards and backwards and spin, but I can't do like a 3-foot bunny hop off a dirt jump. Whatever. That always impressed me too. I guess it was the asthma just felt like uncomfortable. And when I tried small jumps, I'd smash my shins and all these bloody shins from missing the pedal. So it was like, unless you know some other riders who can help you with the skill, like what to do. But folks are impressed with each other. We impressed each other with our flatland skills. But I wasn't really like a dirt rider. Sometimes you'd have like the local kids here on like these bridle paths. They like take a shovel. Oh boy. All right. Apparently I was live, but the orange window meant that I was still live. You can see that they're really taking care of the landscaping more and more in the city parks. It's really impressive. Really is. I'm going to stay on the road as much as I can. I remember doing the 15K. Wasn't the Kleinerman run? Well, who was it? It was some African American who was one of the starters of New York Roadrunner. I can't remember his name. Joe something or I can't remember. What was the dude's name? But it was in the snow. It was a 15K in the friggin' snow. It was so cold. I toughed it out. And I did one of my best times. That was the thing. It was like 15 kilometers in an hour or something like that. How fast? That's fast for me. Is that even possible for me? Let's see. How much is 15 kilometers? Well, 15 times 5 is 75. Divided by 8. Eight times 9 is 72. So like 9.375 miles. Yeah. I'm not that fast. I think it took like 90 minutes. Yeah, it took like 90 minutes, right? So like 10 miles an hour in the snow. I was very impressed with myself. They have like volleyball people who set up here. I don't know what that circle is for. It's like a sumo-sized circle. But these are the famous North baseball fields. And I thought I could go off here to the off-road. Hopefully I still can. I don't know if it exits the park, but that's what I need to do. May I go out to 97th here, sir? Used to be able to. He's gonna do it. Follow this dude. It is much faster to go to every side. To the park and the traffic is much better. Alright. So I'm here. Now I can go down to 96. Cross down to maybe 2nd Avenue, where I need to be. So I think this one's in like the 370s. So I saw a photo of Dr. Jack Hershowitz, a famous doctor and psychologist who runs the marathon, does so there's these long runs. Exceptionally talented juggler. When he was in his 60s, and 70s, he was juggling 7 balls. He said it's just a fun hobby when he went to medical school in South Africa. So Dr. Jack posted a photo. He's still placing in the top 10. I don't think he's juggling anymore though in the races. Maybe they banned juggling? Did they? But he was consistently in the top 10 now for his age group. I mean, he must be an octogenarian soon. And still running these half marathons and marathons. Dr. Jack Hershowitz. His son Barack also became a doctor. He was in Israel, I think. So I met once, and his daughter I met. She used to come to the juggling club. Can't remember her name though. Miriam or I can't remember. But he was always very pleasant. Took me out to dinner once. Wanted to ask me about some clubs. And took a trip up to see him at his psychiatry office. He didn't have much to say other than to farewell. Seemed to be like the kind of psychiatrist that understood that I didn't understand the play in decadence and the Catholic Church sort of prejudices and Jewish pogroms. I seem to not understand that at all from a psychological perspective. Jack was always super nice. Being the good doctor, the juggling club. Because, you know, people want to have fun, you know. When the working day is done, you know, just girls just want to have fun. Just not with me. I mean, they want to have fun. It's just, you know, I have nothing to do. All right, anyway. Keep going. Heading to do this, look, 9. We are at 9 East 96th. Mother also had her cancer treatments here at Mount Sinai. Visited her here a few times. And I did not enjoy those visits. I always felt like the doctors it wasn't good enough care, and I was so poor that it didn't matter what I said. I mean, she had medical coverage, but I always felt like she's fighting cancer, she could get better treatment. And it was like, cancer, we tried this chemo, she's getting worse and worse. We tried this treatment, getting worse and worse. And then hospice care, which she hated, which she fucking hated. Told me herself. So, saying, can't you try like holistic healing, changing your diet, changing lifestyle, trying like alternative healing, hydrotherapy, living in Hawaii again? Like what can you try with what you have? Enjoy your time. But she listened to the doctors. I didn't enjoy it one bit. Pretty unregulated, and they zip around and you can go for hours. Clutch sucks. Sucks ass. Anybody? And that's the thing. To ride a Revel, do you need a helmet? Do you need a motorcycle license? I don't understand these things. E-bike. Alright, so I guess I'll go down to 88th. And I'm on the Upper East Side now. Small shops here along here. Most residential. Make a left turn on 88th. I think the YWCA, the Y, 92nd Street Y, still has some of the best speakers. Mother spoke here once for some theater gathering. They have some of the best lecturers and speakers in New York City. You'd be surprised. 92nd Street Y. they're cleaners. What's that about? Alright. You break, I fix by Asurion. Let's not go there. Cal's Bagels. Alright. Getting close. Real estate. Minus 2%. Rich coffee. Michael's hard. Note to self, get a helmet. What? No, I know I'm not you. Your drug history is vastly different. Ooh, shoulder sushi. Alright, I'm gonna pull over here at the church though. What can I tell you? And hope you're having a good day. Alright, so I'm in this live stream. We're on 50 minutes. Make these drops. What church is this? Let's see before I sign off. So both of these are on adjacent blocks. Should be nearby. And we are at the Episcopal Church of the Holy Trinity at 316 888 East 88. It's a lovely church. Look, the flag is blowing in the wind. All right, I'm going to park here, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching and supporting me on YouTube. Over 450 subscribers. Live since 2007. Believe it. Thank you. Take care. Bye.